Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Doing business in life with a purpose, serving others and achieving success. I'm your host, Steve Ramona, and we created this show for you, the audience, because we want everyone to learn how to do business in life to make an impact in the world. How will you serve today, and what impact will you make today? And talking about something that makes an impact, this woman is a barn buster. She is energy 10 times over, but she's a servant as well. And it shows that you can do both and be very successful. Cara Jean, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is wonderful.
What is a servant heart to you?
Hmm, that's such a good question. What is a servant heart to me? I think when I think of servant heart, specifically around leadership, I don't think of uh, the shuffling and the humbly, the hunkeredness. I think of that humility, that I can be great at what I'm great at, but you're allowed to also be great at what you're great at. And if I can support your greatness, then my greatness gets supported and we all win. And I think of that desire to be of service, not necessarily servant, but to be of service, to see how can I help you? Because I know that the more I spend time helping other people, the easier it is for me to accept help. And that's so powerful.
You mentioned two great words I love together, servant leader. What do you think the characteristics of a servant leader are?
Humility,
Hmm.
uh, that ability to think of others, not think of yourself less, but think about yourself less, right? And then authenticity, which I think is really hard, especially in a world where as a leader there is so much expectation, there's so much pomp and circumstance. I actually just did a study on the genetics of leadership, and they found that leaders are predisposed towards schizophrenia, weight gain, and anxiety because of the chronic stressors that come with being a leader. So you have to have that awareness of the humanity, that grace for yourself as well as the people around you, so you can avoid so many of those chronic stressors. And they develop. In my head, the servant leader is always, always, always developing, because those skills, those tools, those mindsets that are for leadership are designed to help with those chronic stressors. And if you can do it, you can share it.
Yeah. And leaders that have stressors are not servant leaders always, because a servant leader doesn't have as much stress because they value and positivity. I love
Hmm.
what you said. And that
Hashtag
leads,
leadership math.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Leadership's great, but throwing that servant piece to it is a game changer for everybody that does it. So with that being said, because a leader needs to say no, which a lot of leaders don't, especially in business, what is the top thing you tend to disagree with people on?
Do less. I get into this is I start most of my corporate trainings with a whole thing about, if you really, really want to empower your team, figure out what they don't need to be doing. Spend your time taking things away from them so they can do the things that are actually important. I encourage you to do that for yourself as well.
Yeah.
But we have, 40 years of a hustle culture built into how we do things. And we know that 80% of what we do only delivers 20%. We have so many studies on that. So do less. Do the 20% that gets you that 80, and watch as everyone's life gets easier.
Yeah. That's a great piece of advice. Audience, remember that and listen to that again, because that's powerful. So somebody in upper management in a big company comes to you and says, love this leadership talk. I love it. How do I be a better leader? What tips would you give them?
Oh, so I always lean towards, I call them my four power tools. So there is, you need to help as a leader, you help your operations team because they're the ones doing it. You help them avoid tasks that are not necessary, accept the ones that they have to, align so that they can do it competently, and then adapt because life is going to life all over you, whether you're at home or you're at work. And that's just what life does.
Yeah. Life gets in the way. It always does, no matter what. That's a truism for everything.
Yeah.
So you got this upper management and says, I'm a leader, but I want to be a better leader, but I have to do a negative thing like fire somebody. How do you handle that?
Ooh, so that is a much more an HR conversation. What I tend, here's another place I argue with leaders. If you are truly a servant leader, if you are really looking to enable and empower people, firing someone is not a negative, because you are letting someone go who is not aligned so they can go find a place to find alignment. And that changes the conversation entirely. It's no longer we're letting you go because you suck. It's looks like you're not having as much fun and that's causing us to not have as much fun. How about you go find somewhere where you will thrive and enjoy, and we'll find someone who wants to fit in here.
Servant leader always looks for the win-win. That's absolutely it. Hey, Joe, it's not a fit here. I want you to grow, but let's put you in a place to grow. The other thing a servant leader would do, and I know you teach this, we talked about is, let me help you find another place. Let me talk to my network.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see
I
if I
got
can
people.
place you there. Instead of just say, hey, Steve Ramona, you didn't
Right.
fit, you suck, goodbye. That's
Yeah.
not a leader. That's just
Yeah.
a business person being a business person, which is, if you want to be different, to do that. You gave me an interesting question. I can't wait to hear the answer. Who do you want to see not happen in the world?
Oh, yes. This is my favorite question. I do not want to go back to pre normal. This
Hmm.
post pandemic new normal is hard and challenging and dynamic, and absolutely addressing the reality that all businesses are made up of people, all clients are made up of people, all consumers are, it's like the world is made up of human beings, and if you take care of the human being, the world is then better, which means you make more money in business. It means that you may have an easier time running a business. And the idea of going back to this pre-normal, this hustle culture, this corporate culture, I want us to not do that. I want us to lean into this uncomfortable new normal space and figure out how to create corporate cultures of community.
Entrepreneurs and business owners are always uncomfortable. That's a compliment. It's the
Yes.
only way that you grow.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting when you say that, and a business owner has told me, and you may have heard this, well, Cara Jean, I am paying them 500,000 a year. Isn't that enough?
No. I mean, you buy a car for that amount of money, but you still have to put gas in it, right? You're not mad about that. Oh, you pay the person at the grocery store for your groceries, probably that amount through the entire year, but they don't care about what you buy, and you don't expect them to care about it. Hmm.
Hmm.
Almost like that upfront is paying for their time, not their energy.
Yeah. How important is energy?
Oh, my BS, my belief system is that is the most powerful resource that we have. Period. You can spend money all day long, but time and energy, oh, you can do way more with that.
And you just said something that fast and humbly, BS, belief system. Remember that. I just wrote that down. That's a great, because the other BS, I don't like to, use
But
swear
some
words if I don't have to. Right.
is also that kind of BS.
Right.
I
Right.
just
Right.
mine. It's precious
Yeah.
to me. I
Yep.
developed that. I have all the scars to show for it.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Interesting as I'm talking, listen to you talk and say incredible things. How does servant's heart fall into your personal life?
Oh, I they say that how you do one thing is how you do everything. And while I absolutely agree with that, we're not at the same level on everything that we do. However, choosing that servant leadership, when you apply that at home as well as at work, it changes the dynamic of all of your relationships. You allow other people to have their BS, their belief systems, and they can be theirs entirely. And it doesn't hurt you, it doesn't harm you, which means that you can have relationships with family who have different belief systems than you do and still love them for who they are and recognize that we have different belief systems. And
Yeah.
you do that at work, and you create this culture that is always challenging, but in a good way, in a way that expands and gives you a more full spectrum experience of reality rather than just your own individual experience.
What I'm hearing you tell me and the audience is positive energy is the key to this.
Yes, I believe that that is
Yep.
dead center of my BS. Yes, yeah, and it took me a long time to figure out because we're not taught how to leverage our energy. we've only recently started discussing the very real reality that we are energetic beings. We can track it magnetically. You have iron in your blood, so of course you're generating a magnetic field. We know this.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do with that knowledge if you have it? And so I've come up with 4 things. It's taken me a really long time and a whole lot of failure, lots and lots of uncomfortable failure to figure this out. But there are 4 things that to maintain your energy so you can do all of these other things. There are 4 basic things you have to do every day. You have to take care and maintain your meat suit. That means you got to shower, you got to brush your teeth, you got to put on deodorant. The rest of the world appreciates you for doing this. Thank you so much. You have to maintain your meat suit. You also have to manage your hormone soup. We don't get control over how we feel. I'm certain there's someone out there who has mad skills. It's not me. It's not most of the people I know. We have the feelings, and then we manage how we handle them. So every single day, you have to manage your hormone soup. You have to figure out what is going to give you the happies and the dopamine hits so that you can continue to move forward. The third thing is your mush management. You have to develop your mush management. We've kind of already talked about that so far. If you're not developing into your leadership, into your management, into your brain, you're not growing, you're stagnating, and it's going to make things weird and uncomfortable. Your brain needs that dynamic change. It needs that growth. So you have to do something to handle it, to develop your mush management. And then the last one is something that helps your sparkle. We're all made of stardust. We know this. We are the same things as the stars. And if you don't allow yourself to sparkle, you cannot change the world. You simply cannot. The studies around the power of a smile are insane. So it's a mirror feedback loop. When I smile, if I smile, the Dushin smile, this is Dr. Dushin discovered this. If you smile with your eyes and mouth, it has to be both, right? If I do that, you naturally go and do it too. Monkey see, monkey do. I want to test testing that my smile is real by smiling.
Yep.
But because we contracted both of those muscles, it sends a feedback to our brain, says, oh, we must be happy. Make happy juice, go. And those contract those 2 muscles, which then sends the feedback that we're happy, which then contracts those 2 muscles, which then fits. The power of simply honestly and truly smiling at another human being can impact how their brain is functioning that day.
Yeah. So true. That's why servants is the smile of your action. Yeah. It makes people smile. I tell people 100% guarantee you serve somebody, whatever that may be, we won't get into that. You're going to get some type of positive smile, energy, whatever it may be. You said one dirty word in business, and the second dirty word is sales. We won't get into that right now, but failure happens to all of us. Happens to Warren Buffett, Elon Musk. I don't care how you feel about those guys. Everybody's failed. We've heard their stories. Talk more about failure.
I do a whole failure course. It's my 1-year coaching program. It's called Failure Expert. Failure Expert, FE, in Spanish, in the Latin community, means faith. And Fe on the periodic table is iron. So here's what I know to be true. This is my BS. If you have the faith to be a failure expert, you will become as strong as iron.
Easy enough. How do Simple. I do that?
That's right. Simple being not easy. You have to do the everyday thing. What I know is you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I call that leadership 101. If you are in leadership, you will be uncomfortable a lot, a lot of the time. So getting comfortable being uncomfortable is how you go about doing that. It's as simple as that. It's not easy because you have to do it every day, but you lean into the things that are challenging, lean into the things that make you question, lean into the things you disagree with, and don't lean in to fight. Lean in to say, but say more. Explain that to me. I'm not sure I understand. Where did that come from? How did you decide that? Ask a question. Ask more, say less, and be uncomfortable. You'll be uncomfortable, but it will be good.
And to not take it personal, and I always say this phrase to people, and sometimes on my podcast, what you think about me is none of my business. They fail, and you got those peanut gallery yelling, "Oh, you're a failure," trying to put you down. It's none of your business how they feel about you.
And it's not about you.
No.
They're not thinking about you and your failure. They're thinking about your failure and how it applies to them and their life and how that makes them feel like a failure. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Well said. Give me a defining moment where serving others has shaped your business to where you are today.
Okay, trigger warning, suicide. So we're prefacing this. Yes, we're going to get real deep. It's a really great question. So when did being a failure truly impact my business for the better? And that would be when my brother committed suicide, which seems like a very weird thing to say. But I was prepared for my sister to have these conversations with her. She's an actress in LA. That's so much stress. And we had been really open and honest in the we take it as a leadership stance in our household that talking about the mental health and the wellness is part of who you are as a human, and you have to have those conversations to be successful helping anyone else. You address this hot mess before you handle that hot mess, or you end up with a dumpster fire in a train wreck sliding down an avalanche, and nobody needs that. Thank you very much. So I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready for when he was gone. And it shocked all of my BS. It turned my entire world on fire and sideways. I had to figure out how to walk on the wall because nothing made sense. Luckily, I happened to be in a company that said they were people first, and many companies these days say that, but not everybody lives that. And so, since they felt that having a servant as your heart as a leader was so important and was exactly the way to treat other people, the CEO found out what was going up, called and said, I have 2 stores right next to where your parents live. I will create a position for you if you would like to move home.
Wow.
Yeah. And immediately the regurgitated, I'm an adult and have to do everything by myself stuff came out. Oh, no, I can handle this all by myself. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. The world's on fire, but we're fine. It's fine. It's fine. This is fine. It's fine. And then I had a hard day. And then my mom had a hard day. And I thought, you dumb. You could literally be there right now. Your boss said that would be okay. And I had to call him up and say, so you were more right than me, which put a smile on his face. And I took the position at home, and it allowed me such a safe place to dive into leadership, into what is leadership development. What does that look like on an operations level? What does that look like at a leadership level? What does that look like at a C-suite level? And how are they the same, and where are they different? And why do we have these gaps? And how come we're not talking about the human of it? Why do we pretend that there's some way we can just shut those things off and leave them at the door? I don't know how to do that. I do know how to behave. But I don't know how to stop my feelings.
Yeah.
And so why do we do that? And how does that not work? And I got to leap down the rabbit hole of leadership development, the skills, the tools, the mindsets, how they're designed to handle the chronic stressors that come with leadership. And then they gave me a platform where I could build that for our company and create leadership training programs for our entire company. I got certified as a coach to be able to go do this with them, and would still be with them, except we had a pandemic. And in the real world, I was pregnant and running restaurants. And suddenly the work was so good, the job was not.
Yeah.
And it is because of their support and their understanding through all of that that I was able to quit working with them and start my business the same year that I had a baby.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What I love is your mentor story is unbelievable because it changed your life. But even during a tragic time, you eventually listened. But the more important thing, you took action. Talk about that.
It was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of why I talked about the self-care stuff earlier. I was not groomed. I have been groomed and trained for corporate America since I took my first dual certification course when I was 8 years old. I wanted to babysit, so I got certified as a babysitter and in CPR so that I would be a safe person to leave your child with.
Wow.
Yeah, but my whole life groomed for this. Saying no, saying I'm not okay, and that's okay. I will be okay, but I need that extra support. I need to be seen, I need to be heard, and I need to not feel guilty for that. That was quite possibly the hardest work of my entire life. And thank goodness, this sounds weird too, that it came on the heels of such a pivotal loss, of such a space of grief, because I had to look at it. There was no getting around it. You can't just smile as you're going through massive grief. You can for about 3 minutes, and then you see the music changes and one of the songs that triggers, and now you're
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so I had to say yes. And because I was in a space where servant leadership was taken so seriously, where people first was taken, it was baked into our culture. I could do that, I could struggle with it, and I could have both of those conversations.
You know what's interesting is you have this mentor that took action, but how much did it affect your company to move you
I
to
A
another
lot,
job?
only because I'm really expensive. I was the I got paid more than most of our general managers, even though I didn't hold that title. Um, so they had to move things around quite a bit to make that happen. But because I leaned into this, I was able to, in that same year where I transitioned and moved, create an entire training program built around these concepts for our executive team, so that our training went from the moment you walked in the door as a host all the way up to being the CFO. And it sustained and maintained that culture of people. So it caused a huge cost up front, but the payout, the dividend is still paying. I still get calls from them going, we just used one of your trainings again the other day. Thank you so much again. Thank you for
And
that.
that's thank you. You answered exactly where I wanted you to go because yeah, it may affect them right away, but as a founder CEO, to make that servant decision, short term wasn't so good, but today they're flourishing because of you, because he took action to go, I need to move you near your parents. It's going to affect me a little bit here. And that's what a servant heart thinks about, not today, not tomorrow. What's going to
Yeah.
happen in 6 months? What's going to happen in a year? Or the other thought process or mindset is, I have a servant heart. I'll find a way. You
Yes.
did, you did, and look where we are today.
Yeah. And
We're
it
right.
is,
We go ahead.
I mean, it is that servant leadership. So much of it is recognizing that what you are doing is an investment and it will pay dividends, but you're going to have to do the work up front.
Yeah, that's a great way to end this show. Before we leave, how can they get a hold of you? Somebody's going to want to talk to you.
Yes, yeah, I'm super easy to reach. I am on all of the social medias, the LinkedIn's, the Alignables, the TikToks, the Twitter. No, I'm not on Twitter anymore. But all of them, all the rest of them, I might still be on Twitter. I don't know. But just email me. It's really that simple. Cara Jean, CaraJean at takingcarabusiness.com. And just say that you saw me on Steve's show and you want to know more. I'm in. Let's do
Amen.
this.
Thank you.
Change is
Thank,
inevitable.
love
Development is
it.
a choice.
And we need to do it as a team. It takes a village, not one person. I want to thank you for being on the show. I've got notes here like crazy. This is great. I'm sure you've taken notes. Look forward to my TV show, which is launching January 5th. Together We Serve. So I'll have information in the show notes about that. I'm excited about that. And I want to see you all on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart.